Welcome to the Crafty Yarn Barn. My name is Nancy Ellen, and I'm so excited that you've tuned in. Welcome to my channel where you can find all types of product reviews, tutorials, crafty yarn projects, and wonderful, wonderful fun of crochet where you can feed your yarn addiction. And today, what we're making is a pom-pom rug. Isn't this beautiful? I love these colors. I love the yarn, how soft it is, how lush it is. So stay tuned and let's get crafted. All right, these are the items that are needed for our project. We have yarn, we have the mesh fabric for the backing of our rug, Pom Pom Maker, and scissors. That's all we need. As for the Pom Pom Maker, I have another video that I made to show you how to use this particular Pom Pom Maker. Check the comment sections down below and it'll give you a link to that video. Also, I have created another video, a DIY Pom Pom Maker video. If you don't have a Pom Pom Maker, such as this or another brand, then I've got a video created to show you how to make pom-poms with products that you have in your own home. Check out the comments down below for more links. This mesh fabric, I was a little worried that it wasn't going to be large enough for my project, so I did buy 2 of these, but I did open it up. It is really large. The fabric size of this is 24 inches by 30 inches. Really nice size, full-size rug. Now if you want to make a bigger project, it gives you instructions within the backing of how to tie the fabricing together to make a really large project. I want to show you the up-close packaging for the mesh fabric. It says it's made out of 100% polyester. It's a mesh fabric. Here's the maker, plaid Bucela. Fabric size is 24 inches by 30 inches, so it's a really nice size when you open it up and easy to cut up like I showed you before. Here's the back of the package. Let me show you one of the pictures of the rugs that's on the back. Here's another, and here's a covering for a stool. Really cute projects. If you look in the comments below, I'll give you a link to, as an Amazon affiliate, you'll be able to go right to that link and maybe purchase this project if you need to. So click that link and you can go right on over to Amazon. I'll also put some links for some Pom Pom makers down there below as well. I wanted you to see really quick how easy it was to cut this fabric. I laid it out, measured it, and it's super easy to cut. Really easy. Even though it's easy to cut, it's really durable. When I first bought it, I was trying to think how I'm going to cover the backing of this once I get the pom-poms on there for the rug so that it wouldn't be so flimsy. But it's really durable. It's strong. It's not a plastic. It's some type of a cordage. Let me show you up close. And it's super easy to cut. Even though it was easy to cut, it's really strong. Let's see. So no worries, no fear. So now the next step, I've got my mesh all measured out to size. So now we're going to have to start making our pom-poms. I already made a few pom-poms because I was trying to figure out how I wanted my rug to look. And I really think rather than doing my pom-poms really tight, I'm going to do them looser. And I'm not going to really trim up the edges. See how it's really full and jagged? It's not defined and round. Like here's an example. See, this pom-pom is much rounder and much more fuller. I like this look right here of like a shaggy rug for my rug that I'm going to make, rather than rounding off the edges and trimming it up. I'm just going to leave it jagged like that rather than doing a lot of trimming. Okay, I use the 2.5 inch Pom Pom Maker, and a quick tutorial really quickly of how to use it. For more in-depth tutorial of how to use it, check the comment section down below. I wrapped my yarn around the Pom Pom Maker 120 times. I made a couple as just tests to see how I would like it at different thicknesses wrapping of the yarn, and I kind of like it at around 120, but that's really up to you. It's going to be your preference. How do you want your rug to look? How do you want your pom-poms to look? Do you want them really tight and dense, or do you want them loose and shaggy? So I chose to do it like this. So I'm going to wrap my yarn around the Pom Pom Maker 120 times, and the looser I found, I'm not really wrapping it really super tight or anything. It's given different sizings to the yarn within the pom-pom. So some of them I'm wrapping tighter than others. And just trying to be creative with it. I'm not really worried about it being perfect. So you do what feels good to you. That's the great thing about crafting. That is just how you feel about it. You're just using your imagination and using your just creative ability to make something that you really like and enjoy. So don't be so uptight or tense about what you're doing. So I'm just continuing to wrap until I get to 120. Alright, I've wrapped it up. Now I'm going to cut me a long string because I want to have it a little extra long so that once I wrap my pom-pom, I'm going to have string hanging off at the back. So when I start tying it into the rug, see how long it is? Each of these, I'm leaving that tail on there. So as I tie it into the rug. So first I'm going to get my scissors, and I'm going to cut the edges. I'm not trying to be perfect or anything, just cut the edges, and that's it. I'm not going to trim it up. I like that shaggy look for my rug. And I'm going to pull it extra tight. And I think this is a really important step right here, is making sure you tie off your pom-poms really tightly. Because I'm going to use my rug every day. I'm going to put it next to my vanity in the morning. My floor is tiled, and it gets cold sitting there in the mornings. And so I had the idea of making a pom-pom rug so I can put my feet on it and feel the yarn. I love yarn. So get your string there, pull it really, really tight to make sure you don't want your little strings to fall out, because rubbing your feet on them, I'm going to do one extra little knot there. Tie it really tight. Pull the pom-pom out of the pom-pom maker, and there we go. I'm not going to trim it up. You know, normally if I was going to make a pom-pom for a hat or another type of project, I like the real dense, thick, full pom-poms. And I would take it and I would use my pom-pom maker to trim around and round the edges off and make it nice and neat looking. But for this rug, I'm loving this shaggy pom-pom look. Alright, so see you back in a few minutes whenever I get my pom-poms made, and we'll start tying them onto the mesh so that we can make our finished product. I'm so excited, I can't wait. All the pom-poms have been made, y'all. Look at this, how beautiful the colors are. I'm loving it. So let's get started, and let's start putting these pom-poms on the rug mesh. Now this is 5 skeins of yarn. It came out to about between 25 to 28 pom-poms per skein. So let's get started. So now, remember when I showed you how to make the pom-poms, you left the string long on there, the string that you used to tie off your pom-pom. So we're going to take our string and we're going to thread it through the hole in the mesh. And then the second string, we're going to go into the hole right next to it. And we're just going to tie it off into a knot. Simple as that. Simple as that. And you can decide how thick you want your rug. So if you want to spread them out, if you want to make them up close and thicker, that's all up to you. So now we're going to tie on our pom-poms. So the next one, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to try to keep them evenly spaced between each pom-pom that I'm putting on the rug. And It's all about your own creative juices, how you want it to look. There's no right or wrong. Just make sure you tie it off really good because you're going to be using this. I'm going to be using mine. I don't know about you. I'm going to go ahead and just tie them off 3 different times. And once you get them tied on there, I'm going to go ahead and just keep going down the row. And these long strings on the back, we're just going to cut them off. See how that looks? Oh, I'm going to love this. Gonna love it. See how cool? I've got the last pom-pom tied on. And I just wanted to flip this over and show you what it looks like. But before I do, I want for you to see the back. And a couple of do's and don'ts that I've figured out through making this project to help you for when you make yours. See how much edging I have left on this side over here? That is definitely a do. You need to have a little bit of an extra bit of mesh here. Don't cut it off too short. Actually cut your mesh a little bit bigger. When I started the project, I started on the very first square from the edge, and see how that is hanging over and really turning into the bottom, and see the difference how it's laying so much smoother on this side. That's definitely a don't. Don't start so close to the edge here. I've started at the first square. Go ahead and leave you a little bit of an edging, and if you need to, once it's done, you can just get your scissors and you can trim it up. So look how nice and neat it's laying on the sides and where I ended on this side, and see this. So that's definitely a don't do that. Another thing that I realized too, starting out on this first couple of rows, see how short I cut my strings. When I was telling you to make your pom-poms, I told you to leave your tail and your string really long. Once you tie them on, you can cut them off. See how short I cut them on the first row or two when I was starting out? And what I learned, that as I was moving this thing around, some of those strings became a little loose. So when you tie them on, you need to do at least 3 or 4 knots. Okay, so put one string through one hole, one through the other, and tie it around one of the little threads here, and make sure you tie it off at least 3 to 4 times minimum. And when you cut your string, don't cut it short. See how I learned that leaving them longer, how I did it once I got to the end. Actually, it started in the 3rd row. See here, I cut it really too short. And when I realized what I had done, that I need to leave them longer, you can see as I went along, I left these tails much longer. So that's definitely a don't as well. Don't cut them too short. Don't start too close to the edge. You can always trim it up. But otherwise, it turned out beautifully. Personally, I'm going to leave it like it is. There's a couple areas here where there's some string sticking way above everything else. I might trim those off, but otherwise I'm gonna leave it exactly the way it is. I think it really looks great. Oh, it's turned out so beautiful, guys. Just look at it. In my mind, this is exactly how I pictured it. I made those pom-poms so they would be really irregular in sizes and lengths. And look how lush it turned out. I put my pom-poms really close together on that mesh, and I did make an extra, but I made it just a little bit different because I wanted you to see the difference. If you get your creative juices flowing and just do it just a little bit differently, you can see the difference in these two projects. In this one, I spread out my pom-poms just a little bit further apart so that you could actually see the roundedness and the layers of each pom-pom. On my first rug here that I make that I'm going to be using on a daily basis, I wanted it so lush and soft and thick and just fluffy. So I really pushed those pom-poms closely together. But on this one I spread it out just a little bit further, and you can just see by doing that the difference in the look. There is no right or wrong. It's what you like and what your preferences are. And I do like this, but this is what I'm going to love. I'm going to love digging my feet into this each morning as I put it underneath my vanity in the bathroom when I put my makeup on and get ready for the day. But this is darling as well. And another way you could do it, you can make those pom-poms a lot fuller and thicker. Spread them further out. So I just wanted to give you just a little bit of a preview of another option. And don't give up. If it doesn't work out, the great thing about yarn is you can, when you're crocheting, you can rip it out. And with this type situation, you could just cut off the back and just retie it, redo it. And there is no right or wrong, so don't get caught up in that. Thank you so much for tuning into my video and watching this tutorial. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe. Turn on that bell notification so every time I upload a new video, you'll get notified. And definitely comment down below. Let me know what you think about today's tutorial. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. And let me know what project you're working on right now and if this is something that you might try. Have a wonderful, blessed day. Until next time. Bye.